Salakia, man. I didn't know my fucking mic was muted. Salak. God dang it. So, quick rundown of what I was just going over. Black rabbis, right? This guy right here started it all, Rabbi Matthew, 1919. This guy, right, ran the UNIA, Universal Negro Improvement Association, founded by Marcus Garvey. Immigrated to Ethiopia, which is home for this motherfucker. All right, so get back to where we left off, right? They were called the Commandment Keepers, a group of black Jews in Harlem. There was the Ancient Order of Free Gardeners, the Ancient Order of Mechanics, the Universal Negro Improvement Association, the Urban League, and the National Association for Advancement of Colored People, all operating within a few blocks of each other. Scroll down, scroll down. As like-minded groups arrived, they set up meeting places, fraternal orders, and self-help organizations, much like the fraternity headed by radio personalities Kingfish and Andy. The Prince Hall Masons, a branch of the North American Freemasonry founded by Prince Hall in the 18th century, had a Harlem chapter. The Independent Benevolent Protective Order of Elks of the World clustered new members in Harlem for monthly and annual events. All right. The IBPOEW. All right. Let's check them out. Right. Phoenix Elks website. Right. Pretty sure I spelled Phoenix wrong, but whatever, it'll come up. All right. So I think this is it. All right. So what it's gonna do is gonna go over, talk about. No, this ain't it. Shalakia. Salakia. There it is. Right here, right? Benevolent Protective Order of the Elks. These are the white elks, so-called white elks. This is their symbol. Right? Now let's see what they have to say about the black elks. The jewel with the star and wreath, is from the IBPOEW, a black elks order. Right? The star and the wreath. All right, this is from the IBPOEW, the black elks, which were created because the white elks wouldn't allow them in. All right, so let's continue. The, the Independent Benevolent Protective Order of the Elks of the World clustered new members in Harlem for monthly and annual events. These lodges began after membership of blacks was rejected by white lodges with the same or similar names. But let's scroll down. The Commandment Keepers, the oldest and largest community of black Hebrews in the United States, was founded in Harlem in 1919. Though the congregation traces its origins to the activities of those who came to New York during the first waves of black migration and immigration, it was in the post-World War II years that the community took root, according to the New York Public Library Schomburg Center of Research in Black Culture. The congregation spawned 6 other synagogues in the greater New York metropolitan area. In a twist to the concept of the new Negro, the Commandment Keeper Synagogue took the claim to new heights. The black Jews in the United States are a variant of a number of Negro groups whose members believe that the so-called Negroes misnamed that they have recovered their true identity and religion that had been robbed from them by the slave masters, and that Christianity is the religion of the whites. All right. They have endowed themselves a group of low social status with honored descent from what is evaluated by them as an honored non-white group, and in such terms that they do not only have nullified the shame of slavery, but feel superior. Sounds familiar, right? Sounds a little familiar, right? To whites, he said, in addition to the religious acts elaborating this theme, this is a political self-indulgent nationalism that has also been the mainspring of several secular groups such as the Ethiopian World Federation and the Back to Africa movement of Marcus Garvey. Let me read it again. In addition to the religious sects elaborating this theme. This a political, self-indulgent nationalism that has also been the mainspring of several secular groups such as the Ethiopian World Federation and the Back to Africa movement of Marcus Garvey. Often referred to as the Royal Daughters of Ethiopian Hebrews and sometimes the Sons and Daughters of Culture Inc., the Commandment Keepers congregation was founded by the charismatic Rabbi Whitworth Matthews. Let me get Mr. Matthews up here, right? Not you, that's Ford. Mr. Matthews, right? A man with disputed origins. Some sources say he was born in Nigeria, while others say he was West Indian, born on the island of St. Kitts in the Caribbean. In any event, Matthew fully adopted the idea of reinnovating himself in Harlem, just as many migrants and immigrants had also chosen to do. In vogue to reinvent oneself, and Harlem was the perfect place to do it. Like many newcomers, Matthew was apparently not well liked by established men in Harlem like Dubois, James Weldon Johnson, and others who viewed his sect as a cult. Nevertheless, they coexisted in Harlem for decades, right? So, let's see. We got a man. Let me read this from the top. Perhaps they instinctively felt the need of more local protection. Claude McKay wrote in Harlem Negro Metropolis, speaking of the many lodges and organizations formed in Harlem. The first known group of black Democrats in New York called themselves the United Negro Democracy, according to McKay. A man who called himself Chief Edward E. Lee organized that group. Lee's title came from the fact that he was a head bellman at a downtown hotel. Lee elicited political promises from leading figures in City Hall, formerly known as Tammany Hall, to appoint blacks to key posts in city agencies that served Harlem. However, white political leaders betrayed Lee's group of black Democrats when they appointed other whites to run the black voting. In Tammany politics, as in the Republican Party, it was the same old chronic sickness of indirect representation, the eternal tapeworm in the belly of Negro life. McKay noted. He said this kind of political trickery did not go unnoticed by some of the more independent, outspoken men uptown. So, clearly, see, these motherfucking camps are some motherfucking Masons. All right? Now let's get into the UNIA and all of this, right? It says, right? Fraternal lodges also held smaller parades to mark their anniversaries, marching from their lodges to local churches, participating in parades for the groundbreaking of churches and to mark holidays such as July 4th. In 1929, Holstein led the Monarch Lodge through the neighborhood up Lenox Avenue and down 7th Avenue before crossing 135th Street to St. Nicholas Park. Johnson's description applied equally well to the parades of another group, Marcus Garvey's Universal Negro Improvement Association. Although they occurred only once a year as part of the organization's convention, the Unia's parades were Harlem's most photographed. What drew the camera was a combination of spectacle and controversial, led by an ornately garbed Garvey, or after his deportation, by a large photograph of their leader. UNIA parades displayed a combination of military and fraternal elements, including bands and ranks of men and women in the uniforms of the African Legion, Black Cross Nurses, Motor Corps, Juvenile Division, and marching band. Military attire more like that of the 369th Regiment than that worn by members of fraternal orders. Those Unia, I'm gonna call them Unia, members not in uniform carried placards adorned with slogans such as "Scattered Africa Unite," "On the War," which in expressing the often controversial positions that Garvey took throughout the 1920s gave these processions a political character. Automobiles, buses, and floats also featured in the parades, right? When Unia took to the streets in the early 1920s, it also typically ventured further south the fraternal organizations out of Black Harlem into blocks populated by whites to 125th Street on the occasion of its first convention in 1920, and as far as 110th Street in 1922 and 1924. For the 1922 convention crossing to the area occupied by whites, according to a report in the New York World, banners appeared reading, "White man rules America, black man shall rule Africa. We want a black civilization, and God and Negro shall triumph." All right, so you can clearly see, right? Let me keep reading, right? It says, as Johnson noted, the typical parade came on the death of a lodge member. Such parades drew few onlookers unless that member had attained some degree of celebrity or notoriety. When large crowds would out, as they did for the funeral of Baron Wilkins, a cabaret owner and sporting identity, who was also a member of the Monarch Lodge of the Elks. Procession that drew far the largest crowd of any that occurred in Harlem was for one of the neighborhood's true celebrities, singer Florence Mills, when somewhere around 150,000 packed the streets. While the crowds might have differed, funeral parades themselves took essentially the same form. Pallbearers took the lead, as is the photo of Wilkins' funeral, followed by the hearse and other vehicles. Bands from lodges also often formed part of the procession, as they did in Mill's funeral. So, as we can see here, right? Let me get rid of this. So, as we can see here, shout out to Judah Nazareth, shout out to the Tour Knights, man. Yeah, man, keep up the good work, Akim. Um, and the rest of y'all, man, y'all start, putting in more work too. But anyway, right? Uh, Masonic Black Hebrew Israelites, right? So it's no wonder you got these fucking fake ass camps, right? You got these fake ass camps throwing up this bullshit. Go back up. Go back up. Look at this Masonic pose. Look at this. Purple and gold, right? Look at this. Watch this. Purple and gold, right? Watch this. Uh, right? Keep in mind, benevolent elks are Masons. This is their symbols. Watch this. The elk colors. Each color and pattern was identified religious or political, and to change or alter it was a crime of rebellion, a desertion of principles, party, or cause. White denotes purity and absolute truth. When combined with purple, it signifies the love of truth and the highest degree of virtue. Now, watch this. Adopted colors. The adopted colors of the emblem clubs are purple and gold. Purple, the color of royalty, denotes the highest standards and principles and is used by the elks with whom our relationship or sponsorship establishes eligibility for memberships in the emblem club. Gold, this color is used to signify quality or great value and symbolizes the rich and material means, not spiritual material, as you can see. Bullshit. All right, so, all right, let me find this damn picture I'm looking for, man. Salak is taking so long. Let me go back up. All right. Oh man, I know. It's sad, right? Uh, right. So look at this. Masonic hand gestures. Hand over fist, hand over fist, right? Let's see if I can find it. Huh. There goes me and Judah now. But anyway. All right, watch. It's gonna let me find it. Let me find it. I'm gonna find it for y'all real quick, man. I know, just bear with me. Cause you see all these hand signs, right? This, right? These camp Negroes do the same shit, right? Watch. I'm gonna show it to y'all. Let me try this. What is this? Man, what the hell is it? I'm sorry, y'all. I can't find it. Find it. Dang it. Hold on. Hold up. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. See what's happening real quick in this chat. Um, let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Um, I'm trying to find these whatchamacalls. Yeah, I think I just fixed the volume. Y'all can hear me now, right? Let me make sure. Yeah, yeah, y'all can hear me. I can hear myself. Okay. So, all right, with that, I'm out. Shalom. Slayaw.